Hi, Art Seekers. We have a very special guest today, Robbie Conal, someone that I've admired for a long time. Thank you so much for talking to us.
It's my pleasure to talk.
How did you start to make political posters and conceive them on the street rather than in a gallery?
I, went to art school all my life, and there are only two things that I was ever interested in or ever good at, aside from things that I can't do at all and love. And that was like playing baseball, go Dodgers, and drawing. So I did that all my life. My parents, who were both union organizers in New York, couldn't believe they had an artist. It wasn't going to be Eugene B. Debs incarnate, but they got over it, and they were very supportive. And in fact, they dumped all kinds of art on top of my head. But, oh, you're going to be an artist? Oh, okay. Anar Domier, Goya, Jose Guadalupe Posada, the great Mexican muralist, blah, blah, blah. All this very social and political, inspired art. And so I became a hippie. I was making art all the time and getting high all the time and doing what hippies do and having a wonderful time till the summer of love, where that was the end of that. But it was really not until, it didn't show up in my art until Ronald Reagan. And he made me really mad. And I was in California, so Californians had like a preview of what it's going to be like for him to be president because he was governor. I found myself making these nasty little black and white oil paint portraits of ugly old men with no lips. And because it turned out it was Reagan and his cabinet. And they were like, and they were so unforthcoming with the American people about what they were doing in the name of something that is a rumor to young people like yourself, representative democracy. And they were fucking it up. They had way too much power and they were abusing it as far as I'm concerned. I realized that, if you just show them in an art gallery, that wasn't really reaching the public that I was thinking this art about public issues was for. And so I knew way too much about political street posters and stuff. I didn't even know I knew, I just had it, but I had no idea how to make a poster. I never thought I would make a poster, but I said, well, if I'm going to have any kind of distribution to people who I would like to communicate with and put my little 2 cents into the public debate about these, what I think are important public issues, I better find out how to make a poster. So I made Men with No Lips, took those 4 images, Ronald Reagan, Donald Regan, Caspar Weinberger, and James Baker III, and just made a pathetic little poster, broke the piggy bank, talked my best friend into going out in the middle of the night with me in Venice and put them up all around as best we could. I knew people would see them. I didn't think anybody would be that interested to help us. That kind of surprised me, but it kind of grew and grew. And then one day I realized, well, I'm going back to New York for Christmas, see my friends. They're all artists. They're unemployed, they got nothing to do. Artists have nothing to do. Everybody else thinks they don't have anything to do. I can roll up some posters and I know they're brushes and glue in New York. So we did that and I said, well, that's pretty close to Washington, D.C. That's like ground zero for me. And that was a kick in the head. That was amazing. So I started taking them on non-scheduled total loss rock and roll poster tours. When you have 200 or 300 very irregular, very wonderful volunteers who are risking, it's illegal a little bit, like being a little bit pregnant, risking a lot to do this with you. You try to tell them, well, there are certain things not to do, certain places not to go, certain places. But you try telling 18-year-olds who are really excited about mischief. So everything I told them not to do, they would come back and tell me war stories. Hey, Rob, it was great. We did everything you told us not to do. It was fantastic. Yeah.
Now, when you're telling these volunteers, these helpers, to put up posters in various neighborhoods,
I don't tell them to put them up in various neighborhoods.
Oh, you don't? Okay, because I was wondering if you thought about the political makeup of the community.
Of course I do. I think about the political makeup of the world. I think this is a very political relationship we're having. I think everything's political. And by the way, that's not a negative thing. It's just the truth.
Is there a particular message that you hope people take away?
I just try to get them to think along with me about, tickle them into thinking along with me about issues that I think are important.
I think it's really insightful that you are really a voice for so many people in this country who
those posters don't talk. You know that.
But they almost do. They resonate as if they're
verbal. They have words, but I like to think that images communicate non-verbally, probably most of the time. Just a thought, just a guess. But, here's the thing. Just totally off your subject, but I don't care. The thing that I'm really upset about that whole thing about, like art talking, is musicians get to play music, right? Play music. Artists do artwork. What's up with that? That's fucked up. I like to play art. Yeah. And I'd like the art to talk. I feel good.